Welcome to the Kenya Wantam movement, KWM podcast.
Yeah.
Today, we're embarking on a pretty crucial deep dive. We're looking into some foundational questions about Kenya's past,
That's great.
and really importantly, how understanding those insights might just pave the way for a more empowered future for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking closely at material from the Kenya Wantam movement itself. Specifically, there's an article called Why Jomo Kenyatta Failed Kenya the Rotten Start No One Wants to Admit.
Mhm.
And it invites us to confront some established historical narratives, and to really think about their ongoing impact today.
Right. So our mission today is to, well, unpack these insights. We want to distill the core arguments and explore what they actually mean for action, not just reflection.
Mhm.
This isn't just history for history's sake. We're looking at the challenges the article identifies and then that powerful call to action that seems to come out of this perspective. So what does all this mean for you? You, the listener, who's ready to engage, maybe ready to make a difference.
And it's important to frame this deep dive as the KWM presents it. It isn't really about assigning blame in some simplistic way. It's more about understanding the deep roots of the challenges Kenya faces now, and then identifying clear, actionable ways forward. It really pushes for critical thinking about the past to inform a more constructive present and, crucially, a better future.
Okay, let's get into it. We often hear about the promise of independence, that feeling of a fresh start, a new beginning.
Yeah, the reset moment.
Exactly. But this article, the one we're looking at, it hits us right away, challenging that. It asserts that power itself quickly became the main goal. It paints this picture. People didn't fight and sacrifice just to swap old chains for new ones, as the article puts it. They were fighting for real dignity, for their land, for basic fairness. So this sets a very different tone right from the start, doesn't it?
It really does. And what's fascinating is that immediate sense of, dashed hopes it conveys. The source doesn't pull any punches. It says the dream of freedom was quickly dashed and that betrayal began swiftly.
So swiftly.
Yeah. And this really goes against a common national narrative, suggesting that, in critical ways, the seat of power remained the same. It just had different faces sitting in it.
So not a fundamental change, according to this view.
Not according to this analysis now. It argues the structures of inequality, of control, weren't really dismantled. They were just repurposed.
And one of the first, most concrete examples the article points to is land. That's huge in Kenya's history.
Absolutely central.
People expected redistribution, right?
After
Millions of acres taken by settlers. But the piece says, quite bluntly, land was the first lie.
Yeah.
How does it back that up?
Well, it describes the willing buyer, willing seller scheme, which sounds okay on the surface, maybe, but the article calls it a deception.
A deception. How so?
Yeah. It details how this system, allegedly, allowed the well-connected to acquire titles to huge amounts of land, while the majority, the poor, they were left with waiting lists or nothing at all.
So immediately creating a massive gap.
A profound disparity right from the nation's beginning. It fundamentally shaped who benefited from independence and set a pretty dangerous precedent for how resources would be allocated later. It really asks, if the very thing people fought for, land, was divided unfairly right away, what does that say about the foundation?
That leads into another really sharp point the article makes. It claims that freedom fighters were dumped.
Dumped. Strong word.
Very strong. It suggests those who sacrificed the most were systematically sidelined, while elites who had never fought for freedom made decisions from, as it puts it, air-conditioned rooms. It really paints a picture of a deep disconnect.
And this raises that critical question, who actually benefited from independence? The article specifically mentions Mau veterans, key figures in the struggle, ending up destitute.
Destitute after fighting for freedom.
Exactly. While at the same time, it argues politicians grew rich. And the article's claim is stark. This wasn't just an oversight. It wasn't accidental. It was by design.
By design.
Yeah.
That implies a deliberate policy.
It implies a conscious exclusion of the actual fighters while rewarding those who knew how to navigate the new political system.
Right.
It points towards, a cynical calculation, not just some historical accident.
And this alleged pattern, it seems, went beyond just people. It extended to public resources.
Yes, the article describes a pervasive issue where public resources became private property. It lists things like government buildings, school plots, community land, forests, riverbanks, even airports, all became, in its words, a target for plundering.
Wow. That suggests something incredibly widespread.
It does. And connecting that to the bigger picture the article is painting, it suggests a really profound shift, a shift away from the idea of the public good towards personal gain.
Right.
The source uses very strong language. It says leaders effectively rebranded theft as development.
Rebranded theft as development. That's striking.
It is. And the analysis suggests this reframing impacted public perception. Some people might have cheered it on, seeing it as progress, while others, maybe seeing the reality, felt they had to stay quiet. This perspective is crucial because it tries to explain how these practices could become normalized, even accepted.
And connected to that, the article argues merit didn't matter much. It was about who you knew, proximity to power.
Yeah, jobs went to loyalists, contracts to cronies, that's the claim. And if you were outside that circle,
You wait.
you were told to wait. For decades, the article says. It paints a picture of a system designed not just to be unfair, but to create this cycle of frustration and dependence.
Decades of waiting, that breeds resentment.
Deep resentment, exactly what the article argues. And just as importantly, it points to how silence became a strategy to maintain this system.
How so?
Critics were silenced, editors arrested, books banned. The article makes a really chilling statement. Truth wasn't just dangerous, it was deadly.
Dead.
Yeah. Leading to a nation that, despite its potential, stayed poor, sick, and hungry. It illustrates a stark mechanism of control, suppressing dissent through fear, through deprivation, to ensure compliance.
So pulling all these threads together,
Yeah.
what's the main conclusion the article draws from this?
It's a very blunt one.
Yeah.
Corruption was not a bug, it was the design.
Not a flaw, but intentional.
Exactly. Built into the system deliberately, from the highest offices down to the chiefs. That's a really bold claim, suggesting corruption wasn't just happening, it was an integral feature of how things were set up.
And how deep did this go, according to the source?
It emphasizes this pervasive, organized nature, affecting everything from getting a simple license to, say, receiving relief food. And crucially, it notes that anyone who tried to expose it was silenced, which reinforces that idea of a deliberate structure designed to protect itself rather than just, isolated bad actors. This perspective completely shifts how you'd think about tackling the problem. It's not just about prosecuting individuals, it's about confronting an entire system.
And this systemic issue wasn't just economic, was it? The article talks about divide and rule.
Yeah, that old colonial strategy. The article claims it didn't stop at independence, it was repurposed. Political elites, it argues, deliberately used different ethnic groups as tools to consolidate power.
Which sounds like the exact opposite of building national unity.
Precisely. The piece argues that because of this, national unity became nothing more than a slogan. Just words, losing real meaning. It highlights how the public service, which should serve everyone, allegedly became tribal. Opportunities weren't equal. Resource allocation followed ethnic voting patterns.
So favoritism based on ethnicity.
And the source is very clear here. It wasn't hidden, it was the policy. This suggests a deliberate strategy that fractured the country, undermined fairness, kept certain groups in power, and marginalized others. All for political control.
Okay, so the article lays out this historical foundation, this rotten start. How does it connect that to today?
It makes a very direct link. It states the damage still haunts Kenya and is visible everywhere.
Like what?
It points to things like high youth unemployment right next to slums bordering luxury estates, overcrowded schools while, MPs drive expensive cars. It draws a direct line from that historical analysis to the painful realities many Kenyans face now.
So the past isn't past, it's very much present.
That's the argument, that the long-term impact of that rotten start is undeniable. The source argues quite powerfully that the foundation was cracked from the beginning. And because of that, no amount of patchwork can fix it.
Patchwork won't do it.
No. And it adds this really critical point. Every time someone invokes the name of Kenya's founding fathers to silence criticism, a thief smiles.
Well, that's provocative.
It really is. It suggests we need honest accountability, courageous truth-telling, rather than just blind reference. Avoiding these tough conversations, it implies, lets the problems continue.
Which leads to another powerful idea in the article. Criticizing failures isn't an act of hate. It's an act of care.
Exactly. It reframes criticism as something constructive, necessary even. It emphasizes that, look, not all heroes are perfect and not all founders are saints. It's about seeking truth to build a better future, not just tear down the past.
It's a call for honesty.
A brave and necessary honesty, which the KWM actively supports. The source says, speaking the truth is hard, yes, but silence has cost lives.
This is a real turning point in the article, isn't it? It pivots from analysis to preparing us for a call to action.
Right. We spent time looking at these challenges, the roots of the problems as described here, and it could feel, well, pretty overwhelming.
It could, definitely.
But this deep dive, guided by the Kenyatta movement, it seems it's ultimately about finding solutions, about, as they say, flipping the script and empowering you listening now to be part of that change.
Yes, the article shifts gear dramatically here. It asks directly how ordinary Kenyans can flip the script. It becomes incredibly empowering.
How does it suggest doing that? It encourages you to gather your peers, ask tough questions, share ideas, build networks, and challenge corruption. The message is clear. It's actionable. Start small, move quickly. Don't wait for Parliament. Begin in your community.
So grassroots action, not waiting for top-down change.
Exactly. It shifts the focus entirely. It puts the power, the agency, back into the hands of ordinary people in their own communities.
And this is where, practically speaking, you can make that tangible difference. The Wantum Notum movement offers a tool specifically for this. We really encourage you. Visit www.wantumnotum.com. Create your account. Start sharing your ideas that can help change your village, your city, your nation.
Precisely. The article calls Wantum Notum a tool, not a spectator sport. It's described as this dynamic platform to post ideas, form alliances, and challenge outdated thinking. It's about active participation.
Yeah, not just watching from the sidelines.
No, and the article puts the responsibility squarely on the individual. It asks boldly, Kenya won't fix itself. Someone has to lead the change. Why not you?
That's a direct challenge, an invitation.
It really is an invitation to step up, move beyond just observing, and actually do something.
So the core message becomes, if the start was wrong, fix the now.
That's it. The article argues pretending things are fine solves nothing. It just perpetuates the issues. But it offers hope, too. The future is still open, still unwritten.
And the power to write it is.
In our collective hands right now, according to this perspective.
It's about moving away from recycling broken systems, as the article puts it.
Yes, and instead actively building new ones together, loudly, without fear. The piece ends with this really motivating call. Join Wantum Notum today. Speak up, connect, build.
And it adds those important ground rules.
Crucial ones. No abuse, no insults, just action. It emphasizes constructive engagement.
So it's not just about critique. It's a vision for building something positive together.
A vision for constructive, collective power. Using the lessons of history, however difficult, to inspire and guide real, tangible action towards a better future. Built by Kenyans from the ground up.
Okay, so we've taken quite a profound deep dive today. We've looked into the historical foundations of Kenya's challenges, as laid out by the Kenya Wantum Notum movement. From those initial broken promises, the alleged land deception, through to systemic issues like patronage, silencing dissent, corruption by design. The source material offers a very candid, maybe uncomfortable but unflinching look at the past, helping us understand the deep roots of where things are today.
But maybe more importantly, this analysis and the platform it promotes, it provides a really powerful, actionable vision for what comes next. The message is fundamentally about empowerment, collective agency, recognizing that ordinary Kenyans have the power to flip the script, to build something new, something better, more just. It's really about accountability, yes, but also courageous action, and understanding that this change starts with you.
So as you reflect on everything we've discussed in this deep dive, maybe consider this. What's one small, tangible action you could take? Maybe today, maybe this week, in your own community. Something to challenge outdated thinking, or just connect with others who also want to build that better future. How can you personally contribute to fixing the now?
And remember, the Kenya Wantum Notum movement platform is designed exactly for this kind of positive collective change. So visit www.wantumnotum.com. Go on, create your account. Start sharing those ideas, the ones that can help change your village, your city, your nation, your voice, your actions. They really are vital.
Thank you for listening to the Kenya Wantum Notum movement, the KWM podcast. We really hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights and maybe even inspired you to take action.